Hello and welcome to the live unofficial Premier League commentary of West Ham United against Arsenal here on LFS this Sunday afternoon of two huge Premier League games, and we start with the league leaders who look to return their gap to the top of the table to 6 points against Manchester City, while West Ham, the hosts this afternoon, look to further their gap from the bottom three as they are looking to retain their place in the Premier League for next season. Let's get the team news then for you. As you can see the lineups on your screen, David Moyes shuffles his pack from Thursday night, making 8 changes. The only survivors are Declan Rice, Vladimir Sofal and Jared Bowen from the 1-1 draw. There is no Naif Aguer or Angelo Ogbonna in the squad, so Thilo Kehrer partners Kurt Zuma in the heart of the defence, and Michail Antonio leads the line. It's not an ideal preparation for Arsenal as Alexander Zinchenko was ruled out with a groin issue, so Kieran Tierney is the only change from the team that started at Liverpool. Eddie Nketiah returns on the bench, having missed the past month with an ankle problem. And you can see the full team starting 11s on your screen. Some interesting ones in there. Of course, Gabriel Jesus made his return to the Arsenal team at Liverpool last week. And Arsenal, well, it will be disappointing after dropping points to Liverpool last week, but they'll want to get back to winning ways, back to getting those 3 points, and really push for that First League title in 19 years here at the London Stadium in a London derby. A big test for them, but it'll be one that Mikel Arteta's side will be ready for. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on post notifications as well. And also follow us on all of our socials as well if you're enjoying it. Right then, both teams ready and raring to go. West Ham in their traditional claret and blue, and Arsenal in their black and gold away strip this afternoon here at the London Stadium. It's going to be a good game. Two sides that need the points for their respective targets, but only one can pick up all three. As West Ham fans around the stadium sing the bubble song, we're ready for kickoff. Just awaiting the referee's whistle, and we are underway at the London Stadium. Two teams that, well, need the respective points, need the result, need the performance. Of course, David Moyes has been under a bit of pressure as of recent times, and Arsenal have been quite comfortable in the league, ahead of the top of the league for quite a while now. Have been in top spot since November, but the gap closed after City's 3-1 win at home against Leicester yesterday evening. Arsenal will want to reply with a good win here at West Ham to extend that gap back to 6 points. West Ham, as it stands, currently sitting in 15th in the table, will be 3 points ahead of Nottingham Forest in 18th. A win would certainly help their survival targets. It's a good win back by Declan Rice. Benrahma has to go back to Cresswell. Now Thilo Kehrer. Kurt Zuma now for West Ham United. Fires a long ball forward. Bowen gets on the end of it, but he heads it out of play and out for an Arsenal throw. Emmanuel says, when last did Jorginho play a game for Arsenal? I have no idea. I think one of the only ones I remember is, of course, that win away at Aston Villa a few months ago. I think that was his... I'll have a look on the screen and try and find it for you, but his last start for Arsenal, well, he has been involved. He was involved against Leeds last week. He has been involved. He was involved at Crystal Palace. Leeds was his last game that he started. Sorry, I was just looking and it was confusing there. So Leeds at home was his last start for Arsenal. Of course, there was one or two injury issues in the midfield for Arsenal the last few weeks, but they're back to their best three, you would argue. Ødegaard pressured. Partey wins it back. Now Ben White is fouled, and that will be a free kick to Arsenal. Lucas Paquetá committing the foul. Referee this afternoon is David Coote. Not one of my favourites, but we move. To Arsenal free kick then, inside the West Ham half. Martin Ødegaard's first opportunity to fire a ball in, put pressure on that West Ham defence. Well, they've changed the tactic. Ødegaard's not going to take it. He's going to try and go from a different angle. Xhaka with the ball, finds Ødegaard, whips it in. Headed away by West Ham, brought down by Martinelli on the edge. Right-footed cross in, and headed on by Gabriel, but wide of the left post. Probably would have wanted to get that on target. Probably should have got that on target, that one. A bit disappointing, but promising start to Arsenal there. Good header from Zuma to get it clear, and then Martinelli with a right-footed cross in. At the back post was Gabriel, and I think it was just too narrow of an angle to head a cross goal. That's what he tries to do. He glances the header, and it's just no real threat, and it just needs to kind of direct it rather than glance it. Declan Rice. Souček. Now Bowen, and now down the line goes Sofal, trying to find Antonio, who puts the pressure on Gabriel. Gabriel is pressured. He's trying to do a bit of skill. That's fabulous from Gabriel, but he does give the ball away. Rice on the edge, finds Antonio wide. Antonio with a cross in. Too high for Paquetá. Falls to Cresswell. Still in there. Benrahma. Cries of handball. Referee disagrees as Arsenal start a counter-attack. VAR will check that. West Ham players were adamant that it was a handball and a penalty. I think it was Rob Holding that they were claiming handled the ball, but David Moyes is erratic on that sideline. Yeah, it does hit his arm, but his arm's down by his side. There's nothing really in that. I mean, when you're desperate for a penalty, you'll appeal for absolutely anything, but that's never a penalty. As we play on, and VAR agrees with that. No penalty. Here's Kieran Tierney. Of course, the only change to the Arsenal side that was at Anfield last week, just held on to a 2-2 draw in the end. Of course, Liverpool were much the better team in the second half against Arsenal last week. I don't want to see a repeat of that, Arsenal. They were much the better side in the first half. They started very, very well against Liverpool, Arsenal. 2 goals up, but they'll not want to give the game away like they did last week. The quality was there. They just didn't execute it the way probably Mikel Arteta would have wanted. Here's Gabriel. Nice link up, finds Martinelli, and a good challenge there from Vladimir Sofal denies Kieran Tierney his run through. Takes the throw in quickly, Tierney. Arsenal want to keep momentum, keep the tempo high. Partey spreads it wide, finds Saka up against Cresswell. Bukayo Saka cuts it back to Ben White. Nice Saka in the box, cuts it back for Partey. Now Ødegaard feeds it through for Ben White, and right across, and it's 1-0. It's Gabriel Jesus. It was a beautifully worked move from Arsenal, and they do lead after just 6 minutes at the London Stadium. It's probably one of their first real good chances of the game, and when they're on that type of form, they're just sensational. That's why they're the league leaders. They work it until they find a free man, and that free man was Gabriel Jesus. It's one man you do not want to be free inside your 18-yard box. It was lovely work. Saka was so patient with it, didn't have to rush it. Just nice, cute football, intricate play in and around the West Ham 18-yard box. Lovely from Ødegaard. Finds Ben White, cuts it to the byline, then just slides it across the box. And it's Gabriel Jesus at the back post. Just has to tap it in, and Arsenal have a 1-goal lead, and that is exactly what happened. Arsenal lead at the London Stadium. I said they started well at Anfield. They've started well here. And they want to not lose their lead this time. It's a lovely cross by Ben White. Simple enough. Tap in there from Gabriel Jesus. And he's back. And back with a bang. Pretty nicely. 2 goals in 2 games since his return from injury. And of course, their title rivals, Manchester City, got an early goal against Leicester City yesterday. Of course, John Stones' goal in the 5th minute. We beat them for timing, but it's a pretty simple enough goal, it looked like, for Arsenal. Really didn't have to work hard. It was probably... it was just as simple as you like. Honestly. But one statistic, when scoring first this season, Arsenal, they are yet to lose. 18 wins, 3 draws when scoring first in the Premier League this season. And one of those, of course, was Liverpool last week. Of course, winning 2-0 and dropped 2 points. It's very rare that it ever happens. Dropping points from winning positions, Arsenal. Not just under Mikel Arteta this season, but of course, over quite a while under Mikel Arteta. It's one similar trait that we've seen. Here's Gabriel Jesus again. First real chance to run at the West Ham defence. He switches the ball, finds Martinelli in space on the left-hand side. Martinelli outside of the right foot, cross, headed away by Kehrer. It finds its way back to Martinelli, whips it in right. And Odegaard, 2-0. It's unbelievable from Arsenal. Oh my God, what a start to this game. 2 goals in 9.5 minutes. And Arsenal, what a response. You thought they would be under a lot of pressure after Man City closed the gap to just 3 points yesterday, but Mikel Arteta's team have come to the London Stadium and wanted to make a point that they're not going to give up this top spot too easily. They're going to fight for it. It's lovely for Martinelli. He tries the outside of the right foot first. It comes back to Tierney, finds Martinelli again, puts another right-footed cross in. It's a perfectly weighted cross. It finds Martin Odegaard at the back post, who just has to volley it home. Beautiful goal, again by Arsenal. Beautifully created. West Ham completely nowhere. Miles off it. An awful start from West Ham United, but a perfect start to the game for Arsenal and Mikel Arteta's team. They look like they're going to extend their lead back to 6 points. And West Ham, well, they just have to keep the score down now, because it'll be something if they can crawl their way back into this game. West Ham, be some task. But we said that about Liverpool last week. It just doesn't look like Arsenal are going to stop scoring. Arsenal are just ready for more. It's their 74th goal of the season. That one from Martin Odegaard, and they don't look like they're finished here today or anywhere near done with their scoring this afternoon. Oh my goodness me. Everything was set up to try and make it a tricky game for Arsenal. It was stories of the day. West Ham could be a tricky team. They could defend good and play good football and try and cause Arsenal a few problems. But it's been completely the opposite so far. Arsenal have been the most incredible team this afternoon. 2 beautiful goals. They just look simple goals. They're not even complex goals to create. They're simple. A ball from the byline cuts it back to a free man at the back post, and then a simple cross to a man on the back post. It's pretty simple. Basics from West Ham, and David Moyes, I'm sure, will be absolutely fuming with how his side have started this game. 2-0 down after 10 minutes is criminal against Arsenal. criminal against any team, but Arsenal, most certainly you do not want to give them an advantage in a game. And West Ham have probably all but given them the 3 points in the first 10 minutes. But you never know. You never know, anything can happen. Of course, Arsenal still have played that game more than City, so it will go back to 3 points when City play their game in hand. Of course, as it stands, after this game ends, Arsenal will have played 31 games and City will have only played 30 games, so City have that game in hand. But this is the 3 points that Arsenal would need, because if they don't get the 3 points, City win their game in hand, they could be the 1 point or even just goal difference separating the two at the top. So 3 points for Arsenal is crucial in all of these last games if they want to win that title. Here's Kieran Tierney on the left-hand side. Tries to cut it back, but good work by Jared Bowen to cover the space. And he wins his team a throw-in off Martin Odegaard. That's good from Bowen. Manuel says, Captain Fantastic, Ulf Odegaard, my man. Hold on. Haaland, top goal scorer, Odegaard, top scorer midfielder, both Norwegians. It's great for Norway anyway. Great Norwegian representation. I want to see Arsenal keep the pressure up, get a couple of more goals, concede max 1. Well, we seen with Man City, they looked like they were ready to run riot against Leicester. 3 goals in 25 minutes. Yesterday you thought this could be a cricket score. This could be really like a Premier League record at this point if it keeps going the way it's going. But Leicester held up and eventually got a goal back because City were so dominant. They became they just kind of lost all their concentration at moments, City, which is very rare. But when they were so dominant against Leicester, they did just lose concentration momentarily, and they did lose a goal, but they did concede. One thing that probably would have frustrated Pep Guardiola yesterday about that performance was that they did concede, but against a very poor Leicester team. But they've got the goal threat, Leicester, but yesterday they were well beaten. Dean Smith had, I mean, let's be honest, did we expect Dean Smith to get anything from his first game in charge away at Manchester City? No, definitely not. But they gave a better performance, Leicester, in the second half than the first one. Most certainly, they won the second half, basically. They won 1-0 in the second half, but no. Manchester City knew that they got the 3 points. They took Erling Haaland off at half-time, and that's pretty much proof that they thought, yeah, this game's done and dusted. We just hold up the ball and waste 45 minutes. Nice play again from Arsenal here, as I'm just talking. Here's Odegaard. Ben White, back to Martin Odegaard. Here's Partey. Xhaka. Now Gabriel. Infield ball finds Martinelli, but he's challenged by Zuma, and now West Ham try and break away, but Benrahma is well marshalled by Ben White, and Ben White wins a free kick somehow out of that, but he does so. Keeps the pressure off his teammates. Tierney. Partey. Ben White. Now Rob Holding to Gabriel. Well, we'll look at this and we'll look at the stats so far. Arsenal have dominated 76% possession so far. Complete dominance. They've already had an expected goals ratio of 1.59, which is fantastic for 15 minutes of football. An XG of 1.59. We'll see how many goals they actually can score. I was going to say they have a topsy-turvy record at the at West Ham over the last few years. It's been quite strange. The last time West Ham won here against Arsenal was a 1-0 win back in January 2019. Arsenal unbeaten in all of their last, 12 appearances here. The only other defeat was in November 2006 when they were beaten 1-0 here as well. So, although they don't pick up 3 points a lot here, they don't also lose. They always find a way of getting something out of this game, Arsenal, but it looks like this game's probably done and dusted already. The biggest win here at the or at West Ham in the Premier League was back in December 2016 when they won 5-1 here, Arsenal. On that day, they were only 1-0 up at half time, but they could even better that today. It was a flurry of goals in the second half, 5 goals in that game in the second half on that day that gave that 5-1 scoreline. We could see something similar here, but here's Mikel Antonio for West Ham, their first real attack, and he wins a free kick. There's a free kick right on the edge of the box on the left-hand side. It's Rob Holding again. The jury's still out on his defending because he's can make some great challenges, but he can do some stupid things, Rob Holding, and that was one of them. Goes through the back of the man. Antonio's going absolutely nowhere. No need to make that challenge. And if you are going to make the challenge, at least put it out for a corner. Just get the ball away. He goes through the back of the man, wins the free kick for West Ham, Mikel Antonio, and they have a chance to close the gap and maybe force themselves back into this game. A game which they probably haven't been in since minute 1 this afternoon. So West Ham have a chance to put the scoring back to 2-1. Rice with a free kick hits Ben White's calls of handball from the crowd, but none from the West Ham players as the ball's whipped back in. Zuma tries to get a header to it, but Arsenal clear it again. Here's Jesus on the edge of the area. Bit of danger there, but Gabriel finds it to Tierney, and Arsenal regroup and look to build once more. The Blue Army says West Ham pose no threat. Well, that's evidence of it there. At a free kick on the edge of the area, on the left-hand side, at the byline. All you have to do is whip it in, and Declan Rice hits the first man. Pretty obvious. Al says, no, it's not done. We need that third goal in the first half. Don't let them back in the game. That's a fair point. 2-0. We've seen it against Liverpool, although West Ham and Liverpool, I wouldn't say they're comparable in terms of quality or the importance of their home crowd, but again, yeah, I agree. Arsenal can't let them get into the game. 3-0 would finish the game off, give them the 3 points certainly, and would wrap it up more than likely. But then again, we would have a boring game after that. Maybe I would think, because I think West Ham would just sit back, try and keep the score low, and would have a pretty boring game. Says I don't trust Holding either. Neither do I. Rob Holding's pretty poor defensively. Seen it last week, he gave a penalty away against Liverpool, although Liverpool missed it. He gave a penalty away, he's given free kicks away, he just looks poor. But of course, Mikel Arteta has no choice. William Saliba is of course injured. At the moment, still hasn't returned from his injury. And that will be a big miss for Arsenal. Of course, they'll want him back for the City game if they can get him back for the City game next midweek. 10 days away, that game away at Manchester City. And that'll be their biggest test of the season, Arsenal. That will be what will confirm them as title holders. If they can get something out of that City game, I think that's it. The title would be done. If City win that game, it's anyone's guess who's going to win it. Here's Partey. Ødegaard on the edge. Nice flick. Saka keeps it alive. Cleared away by Cresswell. There's a lovely flick by Martin Ødegaard. Just shows his confidence levels. That he's so confident that he can just flick it round. There's a man down here for Arsenal though. Is it Kieran Tierney? It's actually Jared Bowen that's down. It might have been Kieran Tierney that initiated the challenge. It was Thomas Partey and then Kieran Tierney's involved afterwards. It's Jared Bowen that's down, so we'll see. No, he's back up on his feet. He's totally fine. Just one of those impact ones. So, 22 minutes gone here at the London Stadium. West Ham 0, Arsenal 2. Oh, interesting guest this afternoon. A politician. Sir Keir Starmer, leader of the Labour Party in the UK. Interesting. Not someone that was on my list of if we were going to see a celebrity in the crowd. He wasn't top of the list. Probably one of the last I would have guessed. Ramsdale with clearance. Or sorry, not Ramsdale. Fabianski. Now here's Jesus. Trying to run in. Martinelli follows up. Martinelli still here. On the left. Can he find a player? He can. He finds Odegaard on the edge. Takes a strike. Got a bit of deflection. And then the flag goes up. Jesus was in an offside position as the ball hit him. So that will be a West Ham free kick. Dangerous again from Arsenal. Jesus and Martinelli causing issues. That West Ham defence once again. Well, my goodness me. Game's kind of fizzled out really in the last few moments. Although Arsenal have still had the better of the game. It's become a bit more even. Here's Mikel Antonio. Steals it from Arsenal, who playing about at the back. Here's Bowen on the right hand side. Tries to win a side corner, but doesn't do so. The last touch is off Jared Bowen, and that will be an Arsenal goal kick. Mikel Arteta just having a chat with his assistant about something, maybe a few tactical tweaks, maybe, I don't know. Ove says, come on, Saka and Martinelli, show me some magic. Well, Martinelli looks bright. Haven't seen much of Bukayo Saka yet. It's been more central to left-hand side focus so far from Arsenal, their attacks. Not much of Saka on the ball, but I'm sure we'll see him at some point. Here's Ramsdale. Ramsdale spreads it out wide to the right-hand side, brought down by Ben White, who's advanced in that full-back position. Throws it in, finds Jesus. Playing a midfield role here, Gabriel Jesus. Holding. Now Thomas Partey. Now Gabriel. To Xhaka. Martinelli. Pressured by Sofal. Gets it to Partey. Now Jesus. To Ben White. Back to Gabriel Jesus. Arsenal just passing it around. Not rushing these attacks. Third goal, of course, would probably finalise the deal, but West Ham not forcing themselves forward. Here's Holding on the halfway line. Now Odegaard coming deep for it. Thomas Partey again. Gabriel Jesus still in that wide right midfield role. Tries to lift it over the top looking for Ben White, but it's a nice idea, but too much pace on that one and goes out for a goal kick. Alexander Zinchenko is on the bench, or on the one of the seats in there. He's not on the bench today, of course, with a problem that he had at Liverpool last week. He's in attendance here today, though. And he is in that Arsenal black and gold kit for some reason. He's not going to make an appearance, but he's wearing the attire. The correct attire, anyway. Long ball forward by Holding to clear his lines and finds its way to Fabianski. Declan Rice. West Ham have shown nothing so far. I mean, that's horrendous. Kerr just fires the ball over the top. No one's targeting it. No one's there. Just gives it back to Arsenal. Devoid of any real idea of what to do, West Ham so far. Haven't a clue. Here's Gabriel. Jesus coming deep for the ball again. Do you want to be a midfielder or something, Gabriel Jesus? He's coming very deep these last couple of minutes. Now, the Blue Army says, imagine if West Ham win this game 3-2 and Arsenal go 10 men down. Get you a job as a scriptwriter. The Blue Army? I do, ultimately, I said 3-0 would probably finalise the game, but remember, we did see a game here where a North London team were 3-0 up and drew 3-3 here a few seasons ago. It was Tottenham, were 3-0 up, 3 early goals against West Ham, and West Ham got 3 goals in 10 minutes, the last 10 minutes of the game to draw the game 3-3. So that's what football teaches you. It's never over till it's over. Antonio doing well. Wins a side of throw in on the right hand side. It's probably the most positive thing you can say about West Ham so far, is they winning throw ins, but they haven't really done very much, West Ham. Here's Declan Rice on the halfway line. Looks for a long ball forward for Sofal. Sofal does get a chest to it, but the flag does go up against him for offside, so that will be an Arsenal free kick, and it's met by real disbelief by David Moyes. I would love a penny for his thoughts. David Moyes, what is he thinking? His side 2-0 down against the league leaders at home. What do you do? Does he hold out and stick to the game plan, or is the game plan just gone out the window in the first 10 minutes because of how dominant Arsenal have been, and they've got those 2 goals? Here's Ødegaard. They'll not want to keep spaces or have open spaces, West Ham, because they were miles off it to start. That's why Arsenal got those 2 goals. They're 2 simple enough goals to defend, but just West Ham were yards off each player. They just weren't getting the challenges quick enough, and that's exactly why Arsenal were really free falling. They had the freedom of the London Stadium in the first 10 minutes, Arsenal, and that's exactly why they are 2-0 up. Whether they've taken the foot off the gas at the moment, Arsenal, and just looking to maybe maintain possession a bit more, or if West Ham have actually finally woken up and got into the game and kind of tried to solidify things and waking up. Maybe Declan Rice has given them a good rollicking, but it's interesting to see what happens. Arsenal come forward again. Ben White with a burst of pace against Kerr. Gets it to Saka. Saka with a left-footed cross in. Headed away by Zuma. West Ham do pick up the possession. Good covering there. Good by Benrahma. Cresswell wide. Now Paquetá. That's lovely. Here's Benrahma now. Antonio can't get past Gabriel. It's good work by the Arsenal centre-back. It was a nice move by West Ham. Probably one of their only good moves from attacking positions in the first 30 minutes. It was good, nicely worked. It was all started from Benrahma winning the ball back. They build from the back, West Ham, and work it. Now they've stole it here with Declan Rice, and goes down. Penalty to West Ham. Arsenal playing themselves into trouble, and they do concede a penalty. It's Lucas Paquetá who's gone down. It's Declan Rice that steals the ball. I said Arsenal just a lot slower in the last few minutes than it has been. Partey, just stupid decision in the middle. He just tries to make a deft touch. It's an awful decision. Declan Rice steals it. He finds it to Lucas Paquetá, and an absolute criminal decision from Gabriel. I said Rob Holding was the worst of the 2 defenders, but that was awful. Sliding in. Never going to get the ball, Gabriel. He knew what the outcome was going to be, and he gives away a penalty. And at this point, Arsenal gave away a penalty at Anfield last week. It was for Liverpool to equalise last week, but this is for only West Ham to try and get back into the game. It was missed by Liverpool last week, but Arsenal, check complete from the VAR. They had to make sure, and it will be a West Ham penalty then. So a chance for them to get back into the game. From 2 goals down after 10 minutes. 32 minutes gone, and they have a chance to get a goal back. There's still protests in here. The Arsenal players have no idea why. Because it's a Stonewall penalty. There's no issues with that. Clear as you like. Gabriel was never getting the ball. Completely took out the man. And Lucas Paquetá, who was running with the ball. It was a definite penalty. And it will be Said Benrahma to take. West Ham, after a poor start, have been given a lifeline to get themselves back into the game. Said Benrahma against Aaron Ramsdale. And he slots it home. He doesn't celebrate, Benrahma. Slight clench of the fist and carries the ball back to the centre circle. Ramsdale goes completely the wrong direction, guesses the wrong way, and Benrahma sends it into the opposite corner that Ramsdale dived to. And at West Ham back in the game from absolutely nowhere. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2, possibly game on. Well, it's particular deja vu, really, from last week. Arsenal 2 goals up, given a poor goal away. It was a penalty this week. It was a poor goal last week. It was a silly decision last week, but West Ham take their opportunity, take their lifeline, and we'll see what they can do from here towards the end of the half to see if they can further their chances of getting back into the game and maybe push for a second, maybe that equalising goal. But more positives for West Ham now. Arsenal still on course for their 24th win of the season. It's only the 30th goal that they've conceded all season. Arsenal. But half-time will probably be more favourable for Arsenal now than West Ham. When we said after 10 minutes, it was probably going to be West Ham that were crying for the end of this game. Oh, that's lovely. A game by West Ham. They break away with Said Benrahma. And as a challenge, it's Thomas Partey again, who's the man who gave the ball away before Arsenal conceded the penalty. And he's chested the ball down, gives it away to Benrahma, who steals it off him. He tries to recover with a challenge. Just a push in the back of Said Benrahma, and he gets a yellow card for it, Thomas Partey. So another good position for West Ham, another set piece for David Moyes' team in a good area. So it's Sofal and Jared Bowen over this free kick then for West Ham. Last 10 minutes of the first half. If they can find that equaliser, it'll be some comeback so far. Sofal with a right footed cross in, it's headed on, and it bounces before it flies over the bar. I think Ramsdale got a touch on it to see it over the bar, but it's Sofal, dangerous ball to the back post. Don't know if it was an Arsenal player that actually headed it. We'll see it again from this angle. No, it's Antonio with the header. He heads it into the ground, it's bouncing up. Ramsdale just gets the slightest touch on it to put it behind for a corner. Good pressure there from West Ham. Good work. Working into a nice area and put real danger. Here's Cresswell then to take this corner. Left-hand side. Whips it in. Headed on by Souček. And they want another corner. And they get another corner. It's Souček who came up for the header. Must have got a last touch of an Arsenal player. It's a lovely cross in. Nice header. It does come off. I think Granit Xhaka. It hits last. So another West Ham corner. Left-hand side. Look, a repeat of that one, West Ham. Good delivery by Cresswell. It's his chance to put another good delivery in. Aaron Cresswell, left-footed cross in. Ramsdale scrambling for it. Arsenal do get it away. Ramsdale tried to come and catch it and completely missed it. But now West Ham applying more pressure. Cresswell with a cross. Headed away by White. Saka deeper than he would like to be and recovering it, but only momentarily for Arsenal. Here's Sofal. Lovely ball forward. Finds its way to Benrahma. And Saka does well to defend from that position and wins his side a throw in on that right hand side. Emmanuel says, Ramsdale, please, when will you learn to save a penalty? And Ulf says, Ramsdale is weak on penalties. Well, he went completely the wrong way. I mean, it's a guessing game, penalties. And it has the advantage of the attacker more often than not. So, I can't blame Ramsdale for the penalty. I blame Gabriel and his horrendous defending. Just slides in on the player, totally unnecessarily. I mean, you'll see it in the highlights whenever you watch the highlights of the game later, but my goodness me, it was probably awful. It was an awful, awful, awful challenge by Gabriel to give away that penalty. Right then, 7 minutes plus additional time to go at the end of this first half, and West Ham, since that penalty, have probably been the better team. Been more commanding, more demanding, more dominating so far. And that's not something you probably would have guessed. You probably would have guessed Arsenal would just see this game out till half time at 2-0. And pressure on the defenders. Gabriel panics a bit. Puts it out for a throw in. You feel it, the momentum and the atmosphere and the tension within the stadium. It's all switched on to Arsenal. West Ham, the team in the ascendancy. So far with a long throw in. Headed away by Arsenal. Headed down by Rice. Paquetá lifts it into the box. Bowen battling. Falls to Paquetá. Looks to take a lovely strike from the edge of the box, but off target that one from Paquetá. But more promising from West Ham. They needed a real spark in the game and said that penalty was a lifeline for them. It gave them that reason to get into the game. It was not a bad chance from Paquetá. Not the best of executions, but could have been a lot better, but half decent anyway. Well, in the last 10 minutes, it's been all West Ham. Other than the possession, West Ham have had the shots, had the touches, had the possession, or had the shots on target. They've been the team, as I said, in an attacking ascendancy here. Ramsdale. Ødegaard. It's a nice ball by Ramsdale. Partey. Ødegaard finds Jesus. Now Thomas Partey again. Out wide to Ben White. Can Arsenal retake a 2-goal lead here at the London Stadium? A lovely ball in behind. Finds Saka. Saka at the byline, cuts it back. Martinelli with a touch. Ødegaard. Martinelli gets in the way of it. Tries to pass it wide for Tierney, but comes off Martinelli, and now Jared Bowen nicks it. Tries to get a counter-attack, but it goes out of play for an Arsenal throw. A bit more panicky there, Arsenal, in an attacking area. A bit more desperate just to try and feed that final ball in and try and go for that third goal. Whereas it's complete opposite of what happened in the first 10 minutes, where they just looked so calm, so collected, so composed in that 18-yard box of West Ham. But now there's nerves, panic setting in. So far with a throw in for West Ham. Good work by Benrahma to block that pass. Pressure on Gabriel, who deals with it well and fired down the line. Bit of a challenge between Jesus and a few West Ham players. West Ham come out on top. But then Jesus makes another challenge and then is fouled, Gabriel Jesus. So that will be an Arsenal free kick. Very fiery game in the last few minutes. Both teams really battling for the ball. A bit of feistiness. I mean, it's a fantastic endeavour from Jesus. Just keeps going and going and going until he wins something. He did win the free kick there. Gabriel. Back to Holding. Ben White. Now Rob Holding again. Tierney. Gabriel. holding. 3 minutes plus additional time to go. West Ham find themselves back in this game after being 2-0 down in 10 minutes. Jesus, Xhaka, now Tierney, Thomas Partey. Here's Ben White, Saka, Partey, Odegaard, trying to find a ball in. Finds it to the left-hand side. Jesus takes it down well. Finds it to Tierney. Quick feet by Kieran Tierney. Cuts it back right in. Cleared away by Zuma. And goes, will dribble out there for it. An Arsenal throw. Tierney with a throw in. Xhaka. Now Kieran Tierney fires a ball into the box. Overhits that one, and Antonio's there to deny it into an Arsenal player. Antonio does overrun it a bit, but Bukayo Saka commits a foul on the West Ham centre forward, and West Ham get the free kick. It's turned into one of those games that game where both teams just battling for the ball, giving away fouls. It's become much more of a scrappy game in the last 10 minutes since West Ham have found that goal. Probably suits West Ham a lot more than Arsenal. Arsenal weren't getting challenged, weren't getting tested really for a long while in this first half, and that's why they had such an advantage in the game. But a more scrappy game does suit the home team. Benrahma, Paquetá, lovely through ball. What's happened there? Cresswell was offside though. Cress was in a dangerous position. It was a through ball by Paquetá. He was offside and nothing really there, but Arsenal win the throw in. Sorry, West Ham win the throw in. It's Aaron Cresswell. He's injured himself there. He's gone down. It's a strange one, that. Paquetá played a ball through to him. Everybody in the stadium could see Aaron Cresswell was offside. It was clear he was never in an onside position. Smiles offside, and then he just makes a strange pass. But then Arsenal win it back quite quickly, and the game continues, of course. Cresswell just getting a bit of treatment in the last couple of seconds of the first 45 minutes at the London Stadium. Just enough time to tell you that there's another game coming up this afternoon in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest, who are in danger in the bottom three, hosting Manchester United, who after Newcastle's defeat yesterday looked to get into the top three with even a point. Would do that for Man United today, but they want the 3 points at the City Ground, a place where they haven't played since 1999, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scored 4 goals as a substitute. It'll be a big game later on this afternoon. Kickoff at 4:30. We're going to see 3 additional minutes at the end of this first half at the London Stadium. Just waiting on a return to play, so we'll probably play over the 3 minutes probably by now. With that slight bit of treatment on Aaron Cresswell, he's back to his feet and will return to action momentarily. So West Ham throw in, long throw. So far with the ball in. Arsenal deal with it pretty well. Do get it away, but West Ham have the ball back again. Here's Sofal. Rice fires a ball down the line. Finds Bowen. Back to Paquetá. Paquetá looking to feed one for Bowen. In behind run, but Kieran Tierney covers it well and puts it out for a West Ham corner. Right hand side. Emmanuel says, please return to the second half. Learn how to change players when needed. Against any big team, do not allow what happened at Anfield to happen again. Interesting. We'll wait and see what his second half tactic is. Mikel Arteta. Will be the same scoreline from last week, or will West Ham look to change that? Corner. Boom with the corner whipped in. Bit of a scramble. And it ends up behind. There's a bit of a scramble in there. The ball fell into a crowd of players. Couldn't see what was happening, and then it fired into behind the goal. It was Zuma who was involved. with Saka and I think it was Gabriel as well in there. It was. It does go out for a goal kick. Last minute of the first half. West Ham 1, Arsenal 2. Arsenal 2 goals up within 10 minutes. Gabriel Jesus with the first, a simple tap in at the back post, and Odegaard, the nice finish from a Gabriel Martinelli cross. And then, just as we thought Arsenal would just see this gate the first half out at 2-0, or maybe even better for them, they make a few mistakes, get a bit sloppy on the ball, and give away a very preventable penalty against West Ham. And Benrahma converted, sent Aaron Ramsdale the wrong way. And that is where we stand at 2-1. Mikel Arteta making a few notes before he has his halftime team talk. Making sure he gets his point across. Might be just enough time for one more attack, maybe. Jesus, though, steals it. Nice Saka. White, Jesus, Saka linking up. Well defended in there by Benrahma. And now Antonio bursting forward up against Odegaard, and a bit of a swipe or something. There's a yellow card given out to Gabriel Jesus. Had a swipe at Mikel Antonio, who's running down the line there. Yeah, just took a swipe at him. Totally unnecessary, that one. And he does go into the book. The Arsenal number 9. His 5th yellow card of the season. We have played over the 3 minutes, but expected us just to have a bit more than 3 after that Aaron Cresswell injury that kind of pushed into the added time. Well, Cresswell has a chance to whip a ball in to give West Ham a possible chance at an equalising goal before the break. They're going short with it. What is that? What is that? They take a short free kick and then the referee blows the whistle. Half time. Confusing, that technique from West Ham. But a very interesting story that's developing in the end of the first half. Arsenal 2 goals up. Concede a goal unnecessarily from the other team. West Ham get a goal back. It was a lifeline for them. They were really nowhere in this game for quite a while of the first half. They got into it in the last 15 minutes. And it's game on at the London Stadium at the break. Half time, West Ham 1, Arsenal 2.
Whipped in, it's at the back post. It's cleared away by West Ham. Not fully though. Here's Saint-Maximin driving into the box. Whips one across. A header! That's beautiful. A beautiful header by Callum Wilson. And West Ham United, after a positive start in this game, have been pegged back early doors. Very, very good. A header by Callum Wilson. And you have to say, it's against the run of play because West Ham have been much the better team early doors here. It's lovely play. It comes from the corner. They half clear at West Ham. Saint-Maximin picks it up on the right-hand side. He dribbles past Benrahma. Left-footed cross. A free header for Callum Wilson. And he just buries it past for Lucas Fabianski. Lovely header. Lovely goal by Newcastle. Ball played through. Joelinton is through here. He's gone round the goalkeeper and in the net. The flag is up? The flag does go up. It was a nice move again by Newcastle, but it seemed to be well offside from the very, very start there. He had to be offside. The flag does go up as he puts the ball in the net, but we'll see this again. It's a ball right through the middle. It's actually quite tight, you know. It is quite tight, but I think he is just offside. Joelinton. I think it's the left back playing him onside. He's onside! And we're just awaiting the confirmation from the referee, but I think Newcastle are 2-0 up here. And it is 2-0. It's a lovely move by Joelinton. The tightest of margins. It's Emerson Palmieri who plays him onside, and David Moyes is in disbelief. 2-0 to Newcastle after 14 minutes. Joelinton with a lovely move. A lovely run in behind the defence. Everybody thought, oh, he's offside. But no, he holds his run fantastically well. Goes round the goalkeeper like it's no problem. Gets past Fabianski with ease and just a left-footed slot into the net. And that's beautiful. 2-0 to Newcastle. So a corner, right-hand side, 6 minutes plus additional time to go. Left-footed in, swinging corner. Oh, and he's missed it. It's Nick Pope's missed it. It's Kurt Zouma with the header. And West Ham are back in this game from 2-0 down. They've got to go back. And could that be the crucial goal that gets them properly back in this for possibly picking up something out of it? It's a lovely corner by Jared Bowen. Right-hand side. It's a left-footed in-swinging corner. Beautiful delivery. Nick Pope's coming for it. Tries to punch it with his left hand. Completely misses it. And Kurt Zouma is just inches behind him and heads it into the ground and hits the back of the net. Beautiful header by Kurt Zouma. Beautiful goal by West Ham. Half time at the London Stadium. It's West Ham 1, Newcastle 2. That funds his way back to his club. Oh, chance! Oh, what a chance and what a goal. What a start to the second half for Newcastle. It's Callum Wilson again. David Moyes can't believe it. What a start to the second half. 20 seconds in and Newcastle restore their 2-goal lead. 3-1. What does he do here? Oh, he rolls it to Aguerd. Aguerd can't get his feet out sorted. Murphy nicks it. And Callum Wilson, you cannot miss from there. Open goal. It's awful from West Ham. That is terrible. He's gifted them a goal, Naif Aguerd. And Callum Wilson is second of the night. And Newcastle have their third. Newcastle 3-1 up here at the London Stadium. Newcastle have the ball. Guimaraes trying to make it a foot race. Oh, what has he done? Fabianski! And I can't believe that. Lucas Fabianski has just had an absolute shocker. It's 4-1 Newcastle. Game's over. Alexander Isak scores it into an empty net, but that is ridiculous from Lucas Fabianski. It's a long ball over the top from Bruno Guimaraes. He causes a bit of panic. The goalkeeper's coming for it. He does some weird thing with his chest, Fabianski. He chests it down and then Isak just wins it. He can't touch it with his arms, of course, because he's outside the box, and David Moyes is absolutely furious, and rightfully so. We'll see this again. This is awful. It's Bruno Guimaraes. He lifts the ball over the top, It's gone the right way through. Fabianski's coming for it. He just chests it down. Isak wins it back off the chest down. It's giving him a heavy touch, and what the shit is that? And Isak just lifts it over the defenders into an empty net. It's the easiest goal he'll ever score. And it's West Ham 1, Newcastle 4. Steve Cooper possibly losing his place. Joe Linton going through. 5. Joe Linton gets the 5th goal. If it were any doubt there. But Newcastle have 5 here at the London Stadium. It's a lovely move again by Newcastle. And that's one that they have deserved because they've created it all of their own accord. It's lovely again. And Declan Rice, the West Ham captain, shakes his head. And is it confusion, disbelief, anger? We just surpassed the 90 minutes. It's come from a good position for West Ham in an attack. Newcastle win it back. It's another long ball. Joe Linton picks it up. Lovely take. Lovely first touch, just driving into the box. No one engages. West Ham should be ashamed of themselves defensively there. They have to put a challenge in, but no one does. They wait and wait and wait. Joe Linton takes it on his left foot, goes for the corner, gets past Fabianski with a bounce, and it hits the inside of the side netting. And what a goal. Lovely goal by Joe Linton. 5-1. And 3 points for Newcastle tonight. A 5-star performance. Well, not really. But they've got 5 goals against West Ham. It was a narrow game at the break at half-time. 2-1 Newcastle were leading. 2 gifts from West Ham made it 4-1 in either side of the half. But a 5th goal to finish it all off, top it all off for Newcastle. A very, very good away win for them. West Ham would have believed they could have got something out of this game. But their mistakes caught them out once more. West Ham ultimately beaten very, very well at home once again. They thought after that win on Sunday that they could have got something. They were on the up. They were with a chance of possibly getting something out of this game. But no. Newcastle made sure that they were the ones that picked up the points tonight and did it with convincing quality. Full-time score from the London Stadium. It's West Ham United 1, Newcastle United 5. Welcome back to the live unofficial Premier League commentary of West Ham against Arsenal at the London Stadium. 2 more games still to come this weekend in the Premier League. Nottingham Forest host Manchester United at 4:30. Players just arriving in the last few moments. And the Monday Night Football, Leeds hosting Liverpool
on Monday. That's tomorrow at 8 o'clock. But the results of the weekend so far, let's go through them then. Villa got a massive win at home against Newcastle to keep their unbeaten run against Newcastle and extending it to almost 10 years. They get their fifth win on the bounce, a 3-0 win at Villa Park. Brighton beat Chelsea in Frank Lampard's first home Premier League game in charge of the club after his return. It's his third straight defeat in charge of Chelsea, and they've only scored just the one goal. That goal was deflected yesterday. Brighton came out 2-1 victors there. Another away win as Fulham got 3 points as Marco Silva's returned to his old club again at Everton. 3 points, and Everton edge ever closer to that relegation zone. Crystal Palace got another big win away from home and keeping their 100% record under Roy Hodgson alive with a 2-0 win away at bottom of the table Southampton. It seems to all but have resigned Southampton to the Championship. Bournemouth, however, won a different story for them this season. They were all but resigned a few weeks ago to the Championship, but no. Positive results for Gary O'Neill's team, and a 3-2 win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium gives them hope of survival. A win for Wolves, a much needed win for Wolves under Julian Lopetegui against Brentford, a 2-0 win at Molineux. The late game yesterday, City put the pressure on Arsenal with a 3-1 win at home at Leicester. They were 3-0 up after 25 minutes, and 2 goals from Erling Haaland has him level on the all-time record for the Premier League in terms of 38-game season. Right, second half, about to get underway. West Ham will get us underway for the second half here, where they were in the ascendancy at the end of the first half. David Moyes will be hoping that can continue, and we're underway then for part 2 of West Ham v Arsenal, and another big game in this title race to decide where that Premier League trophy will be heading. Will it be heading back to the Etihad for the 5th time in 6 seasons, or will it be heading to the Emirates for the first time since 2004? This is probably a big game to try and go to answer that. West Ham with an early throw, headed on by Zuma, but Holding has to head it behind for a corner. Pressure early doors from West Ham. So corner, early doors for West Ham United. So that positive end to the first half seemingly carrying on to the second half. Bowen will be a corner, right hand side. Will be a left-footed in swinging corner, whips it in. It's headed on by an Arsenal player actually. And Rob Holding again gets in there, heads it behind for a corner on the opposite side. It was him that headed it, Rob Holding. Gets it away from any West Ham danger, but it's not over yet. Another corner, left-hand side for West Ham. Cresswell to take this one. Cresswell brings it in. Arsenal get it away again, but Benrahma looks to keep it alive. Rice with a challenge, but Jesus is back there to carry the ball, and they'll let it run out of play for an Arsenal throw. Says, come on, Odegaard, get this team to victory. And Emmanuel says, we need 2 goals this second half, please, Arsenal. Interesting. I think Arsenal will need that 3rd goal, give them a bit of confidence, and then just try and hold the game for a while, manage the game. Although they were managing at 2-0, they just got sloppy. That's what caused them an issue. Holding, tries to go for the header, loses it out to Antonio. Antonio wanted to go for the cross, but massively overhit it. Sofal battling with Xhaka and committing a foul on Granit Xhaka there. Vladimir Sofal. That'll be a free kick then to Arsenal. 2.5 minutes already gone. West Ham have had more shots than Arsenal in this game. They've had 10 shots to Arsenal's 4. Both teams have had 2 shots on target. It's a pretty even game in terms of that sense, but Arsenal haven't had a shot on target since their second goal, of course. Both shots on target ended up in the net, but they haven't found one since. There's a pull on Gabriel Jesus there. So a free kick to foul by Kurt Zuma. He's quite used to throwing bodies of an animal around. I'm not calling Gabriel Jesus an animal. I'm just saying he's used to throwing bodies around anyway. Kurt Zuma, you know, with his whole drama over the last few years. So free kick then. Arsenal have a chance there. First real opportunity of the second half. Martin Odegaard to take this free kick then. West Ham just readying themselves, trying to get that defensive line into shape. Odegaard ready for the cross in, whips it in, headed away by Rice, and Saka deflected wide for a corner. It was Bukayo Saka totally unmarked. Took the left-footed strike. It was Odegaard with a cross. It was headed away by Rice initially. It fell to Bukayo Saka, who was free. He takes it on the volley with his left foot, and it deflected wide on the right for a corner, of which he will take. A lot of bodies at the back post there for Arsenal. We'll see what that can do. Bukayo Saka then takes this corner for Arsenal. Left-footed, whips it in. It's a near post action. It's still not away by West Ham. Odegaard, it doesn't bounce right. Cries of handball. And penalty. Arsenal get a penalty. It's call of handball of a West Ham player. And West Ham, after being given a lifeline of a handball in the first half, they seemingly given away one in the second. I think that's harsh. I mean, well, it depends what arm it hits. I can't really see much clear evidence, but it is, yeah. His arm is out from his body. It's in an unnatural position. Mikel Antonio, he is protesting the decision at the minute. He's not happy with the referee's decision of giving the penalty, but by the letter of the law, it is a penalty. Antonio's arm is away from his body in an unnatural position, and he uses his arm to touch the ball. So it is a penalty, and Arsenal have a chance to retake their 2-goal lead after giving it away through a penalty. And who's going to take it? Is there really any doubt? Would it be Gabriel Jesus, or will it be someone else? Well, Gabriel Jesus is holding the ball, but he's giving it away now to Saka. Saka has been one of Arsenal's most prominent penalty takers in recent times. And Bukayo Saka has scored 5 of his last 6 penalties. Saka up against Fabianski to restore Arsenal's 2-goal lead. Saka steps up for it, delaying the time. Left-footed, and he misses it. Bukayo Saka completely misses the target. A golden opportunity for Arsenal to retake their 2-goal advantage, but Bukayo Saka, the big pressure penalty, and he completely misses the target. Fires it well wide of the left post. Fabianski probably would have had it covered anyway, but Bukayo Saka misses a fantastic opportunity. Mikel Arteta can't believe it. That's a second miss in 7. But 1 miss in 6 is a pretty good ratio. But West Ham will be delighted by that, because they feel that maybe luck is going their way. Wow. Bukayo Saka. Massive, massive opportunity for him. And he's been absolutely fantastic since he last missed his penalty in the Euros almost 2 years ago now. And he's scored every penalty since, but he was bound to miss one of them at one point. It just so happens that it's in a game where it would be pretty good for Arsenal if he did score that penalty, and it means something, as West Ham have now been G'd up by that penalty miss. Gabriel Jesus is gone down. I don't know what's happened. But is he sliding onto the pitch? Let's see this again. It's Sofal and Gabriel Jesus just battling for the ball. Jesus is half off the pitch, half on the pitch, and he just rolls himself back onto the pitch to stop the play. And he's just tying his laces on his boot that did come off in the process there as well. But West Ham have a throw in, right hand side. Are they targeting that long throw again? It seems like it. Long throw in, headed away by Gabriel. It was Zuma that was the real target. There's a ball back in by West Ham, and Bowen! It's Jared Bowen. And after Arsenal missing a penalty just moments ago, you do get punished when you don't take your chances in the Premier League. And West Ham have found themselves all the way back. 2-2. And it's deja vu for Arsenal. 2-0 up and getting it back to 2-2 in another away game. Twice in a week. And Jared Bowen is the man who reaps the benefits of Arsenal's demise. And Manchester City fans will be delighted. 2-2 at the London Stadium. And we're probably not finished with the goal scoring yet. 35 minutes to go. 2-2. Game is most firmly on now. And Arsenal, again, from a massive, massive position of 2-0 up, to just give it away so easily. It's a lovely finish by Jared Bowen. Just takes it with his left foot. Lovely strike. It bounces before Ramsdale. Ramsdale gets a hand to it, but he just can't keep it out of his own net. It's just too much power and pace on it from Jared Bowen. And Mikel Arteta is in disbelief. He would have told his side at half-time that this was probably at massive risk of happening. And now it's time for the league leaders to really show their mentality now. Martinelli with a chance. Strikes straight at Lucas Fabianski there. Well, we said if Arsenal get any more goals from that 2-0, would be a boring game, but it's been the complete opposite of that. 2-2. West Ham have done incredibly well to fight their way back into the game. It was Martinelli that had that chance there, the first chance there. It was a tame shot there from the Brazilian. But my God, that is poor. So poor from Arsenal. Twice in the space of a week that this has happened to them. And this is why it's so difficult to win the Premier League. It's never easy. You have to have some world-class mentality. So far this season, Arsenal have had that mentality. But is it just starting to waver and whimper in these last few weeks? It'll be a real test for them, these games. We said they had a tough run in. And if they want to win this title, they're going to have to overcome some big, big tests in most difficult away games. And the fixtures don't get any easier for them. After Southampton on Friday night, they've got City away, Chelsea, Newcastle, Brighton. So it doesn't get any easier for Arsenal. And with the gap closing, the pressure continues to be applied. West Ham pushing and trying to get that third goal. It was Bowen again from the right-hand side, just inside the box, puts a ball, fires it across into that corridor of danger. Doesn't hit a West Ham player or any player and goes all the way out for a throw-in to Arsenal. But they have to just see out through this period of domination from West Ham. That says about the penalty that Jesus should have taken the penalty. I did think it would be Jesus, but again, you can't blame Bukayo Saka. He did miss the penalty, and yes, that's disappointing, but he had a good record. There was nothing going against him in terms of that before that. Emmanuel says, I know it's too early, but bring on Trossard. Saliba, please, where are you? We really need you. Of course, William Saliba, still injured for Arsenal. He's been such a real pillar towards Arsenal's title fight this season. William Saliba has been a real stalwart at the back for them right the way through this season, but recent injury concerns have been seemingly Arsenal not been as tight-knit at the back as what they were for the majority of this season and what they have been. Paquetá retaining the ball well. Souček, now Paquetá looking for Antonio, but Gabriel had it covered. But again, West Ham apply more and more and more pressure. This could be the moment that changes the whole title race. Arsenal can hardly afford to drop points in one game, never mind dropping points in 2 straight games. As I said, Man City do not need any more help in fighting for a title. They have been in this place many times before Manchester City, and they know exactly what they need to do. And just winning is exactly what both teams need to be doing. And Arsenal struggling with that pressure at the moment. Long way to go yet, though. 31 minutes still to play here. There's a lot of time for a lot more action and drama. Here's Bowen. It's good work by Sofal to win it back for Bowen. Here's Paquetá. Now Jared Bowen. Running in feet. Jared Bowen still untested. Blocked by Tierney and finds Partey. Now Xhaka. Down the line, trying to clear their lines, Arsenal, but West Ham applying pressure. Clear it again, Arsenal going long. Saka gets the header, but Cresswell brings it down. And Zuma has the ball now. Thomas Souček. Thilo Kehrer. Cresswell. Rice. And Benrahma takes a touch, but it goes out of play. Arsenal throw. 30 minutes to go. West Ham 2, Arsenal 2. The difference here this week would be, in the storyline, would be that the equalising goal against Arsenal has come a lot earlier, and it'll give them a lot more time to try and respond to that and try and get themselves back into the game and back pushing and try and go for a third goal that would get them back into the lead. But West Ham look in the ascendancy, look quite comfortable at the moment in the position they're in. And Arsenal looking sloppy. Another evidence of that, their captain, Martin Odegaard, sloppy pass, just puts it straight out of play. Poor decision. Well, Leandro Trossard is warming up on the sidelines. No idea that no intention of making a change yet, Mikel Arteta, but Trossard is readying himself if he is called upon. Here's Tierney. Thomas Partey. Long ball forward by Partey. Looking for Jesus. It was dealt with by Kehrer. Here's Sofal. Looking to target Bowen on the long one. Gabriel and Tierney were working well on that one. Gabriel still under pressure by Jared Bowen. Gabriel does clear his lines and does win inside a throw in. That's good defending by Gabriel at the back. Ove says it's time for Jorginho and Trossard now. Arteta, change. It's calling. Well, I think at the moment there's no real indication of changes just yet from Arsenal, but I'm sure they wouldn't be too far away at the minute. So we'll probably expect them within the next 5-10 minutes, but no indications of changes just yet. Also, Saka is not the man to take those high-pressure penalties. Shown that twice now. Context is everything. I mean, yeah, interesting enough. I mean, to be fair, he has taken quite a few high-pressure penalties for Arsenal. The one at Stamford Bridge comes to mind as one of them that was fired home. There was another one that he's definitely scored. There's quite a few that Bukayo Saka has scored, but I can see where you're coming from. But then again, he has been the penalty taker for quite a while. Bukayo Saka has taken quite a few of Arsenal's penalties that they've got. So, and he's a very, very good record. So, why would you take him off the penalties for no apparent reason? And that's an interesting thing to look at, you know. But again, as always in the Premier League, you don't take your chances, you do get punished, and that's exactly what's happened. Arsenal had the chance to go 3-1 up. They missed that chance, and they end up back 2-2. So, still a long way to go, though. As Arsenal come forward again with Xhaka. Nice Saka. Saka to Partey. Now Tierney. Martinelli. Up against Sofal. Gabriel Martinelli. Xhaka. Tierney. Thomas Partey. Now wide for Xhaka again. Arsenal just passing it around, probing. Just trying to find that little bit of space. Jesus was there to find the space. Gets it to Martinelli and back to Jesus. Oh, what a chance. Completely missed it. Nice Saka, still alive. Ball to the back post. Great defending there by Jared Bowen. He can score at one end and defend at the other. Fantastic tracking back from Jared Bowen. It's great from Jesus. Sprays the ball wide for Martinelli. Puts a cross in right across the floor. Jesus is just inches away from tapping it home. Saka keeps it alive. Dinks it to the back post. And Jared Bowen does well to clear it behind for a corner. But just inches away from Arsenal taking the lead again. Martinelli to take the corner then. Left-footed or right-footed in swinging corner from the left-hand side. Whipped in, headed away by Souček. Still not away by West Ham, but now it is. And now they break. Here's Antonio leading the charge. Mikel Antonio, he's got three men around him. Can he find a way through? He's got Tierney against him, but wins his team a throw-in a very advanced position. Mikel Antonio, he was guided away from the Arsenal goal by the Arsenal defenders. And it goes out for a West Ham throw. And those decisions that you in the chat were calling for, those changes, it's Jorginho and Leandro Trossard who will be coming on for Arsenal in a few minutes. At the next break of play, here's Cresswell. Benrahma is offside, so that will be a break in play and a free kick for Arsenal. And it will give them the time to make those changes. It will be Gabriel Jesus who will be brought off, and Thomas Partey. So 2 changes for Arsenal. Their number 9, Jesus, who's scored today. Gabriel Jesus scored the first goal of their 2. And Thomas Partey, who's looked a bit limp. He gave away that ball to concede the penalty in the first half. Jorginho and Leandro Trossard are on to replace them. As Mikel Arteta, with 25 minutes to go, tries to change the dynamics of this team. Tries to change the direction of play and give Arsenal some fresh legs to push to try and get the 3 points here. Ramsdale will take this free kick. It's a bit of a surprise that Gabriel Jesus has been taken off. He's looked threatening. Not only scoring, but also setting up play, as we seen just moments ago. He set up the ball to Martinelli, who almost found the ball back to Jesus to score it. So he's had a threat. But interesting to see what Mikel Arteta, what that tactic does to this Arsenal team. Leandro Trossard maybe played a bit of a deeper role, maybe more of a false 9 than an out-and-out striker. Be interesting to see. Just good work from Jorginho. He doesn't win a throw-in, though, to the disbelief of the Arsenal midfielder. And Mikel Arteta doesn't believe it either. West Ham win a throw-in then. Aaron Cresswell to take. A quarter of this game to go. Arsenal from 2-0 up. And on West Ham, get it back to 2-2. Bukayo Saka in a deep position. Tries to get Arsenal out of danger. Ødegaard finds Trossard. Nice Xhaka. Nice move by Arsenal as they look to break away. Martinelli up against Sofal again. Sofal wins his challenge. And Bowen takes it off him. Tries to drive West Ham down the other end. But well covered by Tierney, who defends that position well. Wow. West Ham will be much better in the second half, much more competitive, offering a lot more in attacking positions. But Arsenal need to regain some proper control that they had in the first half in this game. They dominated possession, operating spaces, just really controlling the play. And the scrappier this game is, as I said in the first half, the scrappier the game is, the better it is for West Ham rather than Arsenal. That's good play. Ball down the line for Ben Rama. Seen on a play by Ben White. But West Ham have another throw in. Paquetá. Cresswell. Back to Lucas Paquetá. Tries to play a ball forward. Was blocked by Odegaard. Does fall back to Paquetá, who can get it back to Kerrer. Now Declan Rice. Rice driving forward with the ball. Finds a ball wide to Sofal. Linking up with Rice again. Too much on that. And Kieran Tierney deals with it. Right for another throw in. Emmanuel says saving Jesus for tough games. Interesting enough, yeah. They play on Friday night. Arsenal, home to bottom of the table Southampton, top against bottom. And then they have City away next week. Here's Saka leading a counter-attack for Arsenal. Saka! Not the best of strikes from him. Not too much power in it. Simple enough for Lucas Fabianski, but it was a poor ball from West Ham. They give the ball away in there in a high up area. Saka comes in and steals it, leads the charge in the counter-attack. He's got Odegaard and Trossard beside him. He goes for the shot himself. Not much power in it. Bukayo Saka, and just simple enough for Lucas Fabianski to deal with. As we enter the last 20 minutes here at the London Stadium. West Ham 2, Arsenal 2, and maybe some tactics that you would... Some of those time-wasting tactics from West Ham starting to kick in. Bit of cramp that they're claiming. Maybe some injury issues. All the dark arts of football will be used from West Ham in these last 20 minutes to try and deny Arsenal a positive result out of this. Well, it'll be the objective of Arsenal just to dominate possession. They just have to get their foot back on the ball and control West Ham out of the game. But so far, it's far too balanced for Arsenal, and it's more of a end-to-end game. It's something that Arsenal will not be wanting to occur. But West Ham have done particularly well after being in such a difficult position for them, 2-0 down. They've worked hard, fought hard, and probably been the better team for most of the second half to really get themselves back into this game. Here's Jorginho. Of course, Jorginho was involved in one of these types of games for Arsenal away at Aston Villa. He got the crucial third goal, a lucky goal that got them a 4-2 win in the end it was. But he got the third goal that was seemingly at that point the winning goal, Jorginho. So he'll be hoping that his appearance, his presence could do something similar for Arsenal. Finds Odegaard there, Jorginho. Now Trossard from distance. Looked like he was going to take the shot off. Finds it to Martinelli on the left. Gets it under his right foot. Back to Trossard. Trossard maybe looking for an angle. No. Goes to Odegaard. Now Martinelli. Odegaard, they're waiting for just that opening. Arsenal down the line. Whipped the ball in by Tierney. Headed away by Zuma. Arsenal starting to just be patient, wait for that opportunity to fire the ball in. It's not so much desperation just yet. Trossard. Xhaka. Holding. Odegaard. Now Gabriel. Has a bit of space. Trossard. Xhaka. Quick feet. Quick passing by Arsenal. Jorginho. Ben White. Nice Saka. Odegaard. Xhaka now. Odegaard again. Arsenal
Quick passing. Brings the tempo of the game up. Lovely from Odegaard. Couldn't find the final pass. West Ham intercept. Here's Bowen up against Gabriel. Gabriel covers well, but he gets the last touch on it. Goes out for a West Ham throw. Jared Bowen involved. One of the key men in getting West Ham back into the game. A real presence, a real threat. As always for West Ham, Jared Bowen. The throw in is looking to find Antonio, and Gabriel holding well against Antonio. Sees it out for a goal kick. Emmanuel says, Saka, what is going on today? He's not been at his best today. Bukayo Saka. And Martin says, Gunners, Butlers. Well, twice in a week. It's interesting. And Ulf says 20 minutes to save the title race. Yeah, well, a droppage of points here for Arsenal will be not good at all, because they'll be only 4 points ahead of City. City will have a game in hand, plus City still have to play Arsenal at the Etihad. So it will be advantage City if Arsenal do drop points again. Ball forward. Odegaard was there to try and target it, but overhit it. Came from the back, it was overhit, and that goes out for a West Ham goal kick. Odegaard quick to try and get it back in play and trying to get the game moving. As we're closing in on the last 15 minutes here at the London Stadium. 15 minutes for Arsenal to try and find a winner. They have to find the winner if they want to keep that advantage over City for the title. Fabianski with a clearance. That long ball. Well, Arsenal, one of many teams who have scored 11 goals in the 76th minute or later in the Premier League this season. Quite a few teams have done that. West Ham isn't one of them, though. That's a good sign for Arsenal. He topped those charts of late goals in Premier League games, 2 of which of them came against Aston Villa. One against Bournemouth as well was a key game, which Arsenal won late. So they would probably need another one of those today if they are going to get the 3 points here. We'll wait and see what the tactic is from David Moyes. Are they just going to try and keep giving the game to Arsenal and risk the space being left in behind, or are they just going to sit in a bit deeper and kind of force counter-attacks really out of it? Cresswell does well to prevent the corner and puts it out for a throw-in. That's what Ben White was targeting, the corner there. Trossard up against Rice. Rice wins the challenge and wins the throw-in. West Ham captain showing great quality once again. Why he's one of the most sought-after midfielders for the big Premier League teams, the top teams in the division. Well, this is a real test for Arsenal. A proper test against a proper team in a proper game. West Ham at the moment, we haven't said what the point would do for them. A point for West Ham would put them 4 points ahead of 18th place Nottingham Forest, and they have a game in hand over those teams in the bottom 3. But here's West Ham. They'll look to make it better. Here's Bowen. Oh, last-ditch challenge from Kieran Tierney denies him, but Jared Bowen was in there with a chance of getting the winning goal, possibly, for West Ham to complete the proper comeback. It was lovely by Benrahma. He controls it, fires it round the corner to find Bowen. Bowen up against Tierney. Tierney does make the challenge at the last second as Bowen takes the strike with his left foot. Goes back behind for a corner to West Ham, but still a lot of danger in there. And we said about Arsenal trying to go for a winner, they need to make sure they don't lose the game, first and foremost. Cresswell to take this corner then. Left-hand side, whips it in. Header's down, it's still not away. Souček is battling. Does win the challenge. Cresswell. Benrahma. Fires a ball inside Benrahma. Ramsdale crumbles for it, taking a man out and doing so, but the flag has gone up against Jared Bowen. A real scramble in there. Ramsdale was up against two men. He seems in a bit of pain himself here, Aaron Ramsdale. We'll see this again. It's good work from Souček. Gets it to Cresswell. Benrahma feeds a ball in. I think Bowen's onside. Antonio's offside, but does he impact the play? And Bowen was onside, but check is complete. Nothing more needed for penalties and anything like that. Game continues. Gabriel. Ramsdale. Emmanuel says Arsenal needs to stop giving away useless penalties. I hate it. Well, they gave one away in the first half. They gave one away against Liverpool last week. They got one today as well, Arsenal. They were given one. But, of course, that was missed. Holding. Long ball forward. Was targeting Saka, but there's too much on that one. Saka's chasing it, but Cresswell was there to deny him. That's good work by Kerr under pressure. Gets it to Zuma. Nice Souček. Paqueta's in there battling. That's lovely from West Ham. And now here's Benrahma. Finds it to Antonio. Antonio is facing the wrong way. Gets it to Rice. Rice feeds. He was fouled, but Arsenal win it back fairly according to the referee. Here's Saka. Advantage played. Jorginho. Xhaka, sorry. Nice Saka. Martinelli. Gabriel Martinelli. Back to Jorginho. Ødegaard. Jorginho again. Last 10 minutes at the London Stadium. It's now or never for Arsenal to try and go for that winner. Trossard. Now Martin Ødegaard. Back to Leandro Trossard. In a bit of space, looking to feed one through for Martinelli. But it only rumbles its way through to Lucas Fabianski, the West Ham goalkeeper. It's intricate football again from Arsenal. It's what got them the 2 goals in the first half. The cute football on the edge of the area, just teasing and probing at West Ham and just finding the perfect pass. Since the equaliser, it's been more Arsenal than West Ham. They've had more of the ball. They've had 2 shots on target. Arsenal, so more prominent attacking. But here's West Ham stealing the ball high up again. Paqueta, Benrahma, blocked by Holding. Benrahma battling for the ball, wins it back fairly. Whips a ball in. Antonio, hits the crossbar. Mikel Antonio with a header. What a chance for West Ham to get to take the lead for the first time in the game. They steal it high again. It's Paqueta, gets it to Benrahma. He hits it against Holding, then battling for the ball again. Benrahma wins it back. First time cross. I don't know if Antonio would have been ahead of the ball. Would have been a tight check, but he heads it, and it just hits that top right corner outside of the post, and where the bar and the post connect, and it goes behind. Fabulous opportunity for West Ham, and that's danger. Just shows the threat that Arsenal still have to deal with defensively, while also trying to go for the winner. Ben White. Jorginho. Martin Ødegaard. His pass to Saka was intercepted by Rice, but Rice gives away a throw-in. Do they just... Well, interesting to see what West Ham will do. Whether they will just settle for a point possibly out of this game, or maybe even try and counter-attack for it. They've seemed pretty successful from the counter-attacking in the last few minutes. Had 1 or 2 chances. But Arsenal have to push and probe for this winner if they want to keep the advantage on City in the title race. Ødegaard tries to go for a disguised ball around the corner, but given away. Wins it back though through Holding. And Cresswell was yellow carded for some reason. I think it was a Trossard pull that gives him the yellow card. Cresswell's no free kick. Game plays on. Gabriel. Jorginho. Being held at distance, at arm's length by West Ham at the minute. Gabriel. Jorginho. They just have to find an opening. One opening and they could find themselves in on goal. Ødegaard, White. Saka trying to link up, but he's well marshalled by Cresswell, who defends it well and gets it to Rice, who fires it down the line. Kept in play by Ødegaard. Round for Xhaka. Tries to find Trossard, but again is covered well by Bowen. And Paqueta's battling. Bowen comes out with a ball. Lovely ball. Finds Benrahma. It's him and Bowen. He just overcooks it there, Benrahma. Try and find the return ball to Bowen. And it's fired out of play for a West Ham throw. And Arsenal will make another 2 changes. It will be Kieran Tierney who will be taken off. He will be replaced. And also Gabriel Martinelli is being replaced also. So 2 more changes. Tierney off for Fabio Vieira. And Gabriel Martinelli has been replaced by Reiss Nelson. Of course, Reiss Nelson, the man who got the late goal against Bournemouth to win it 3-2 for Arsenal. We'll see if he can repeat history again and be the man who's involved in a crucial moment for Arsenal. Will there be another storyline to this crazy Premier League title race? A title race that has been in Arsenal's hands for a vast majority of the season. But we could see 2 straight weeks where they've dropped points from pretty comfortable winning positions that could see their title race and their gap on the City diminish quite considerably, with City seemingly purring and getting into their crazy form that they usually get into at the end of seasons. City, we will see what can happen. Still time for any other change to the result. Reiss Nelson then, first touch on the ball, finds it to Ødegaard in a bit of space. Ødegaard has to find a pass. It's blocked off well as West Ham get bodies back. Here's Holding. Holding through the lines, finds Trossard. Leandro Trossard out wide to Nelson. Nelson lifts the ball in. Saka with a header. Just off target. Nice idea by Arsenal. Bukayo Saka was the man in there. Hits it. Gets a header on it, but off target there. It's a good idea from Reiss Nelson. Nice technique. A good option for there. And West Ham will look to make changes now. Met by applause of the crowd. It's Lucas Paqueta and Mikel Antonio who will be replaced. So 2 changes for West Ham United. And replacing them will be Flynn Downs and Maxwell Cornet. Not particularly defensive changes from West Ham, but some fresh legs to try and see them over the line and maybe even possibly give them a threat on the counter-attack. It's probably David Moyes' thoughts at the minute. Emmanuel says, I know Zinchenko didn't play well against Liverpool, but we're really missing midfield in this match. Interesting, that one. Come on, you Gunners, 10 minutes to fight for glory. Says, oh, for Emmanuel, Zinchenko in midfield. Of course, Zinchenko isn't involved today after his slight issue against Liverpool last week, so he's not even on the bench today. He was the only change that Arsenal made from that game against Liverpool last week. Kieran Tierney did come in as his replacement because of that injury that forced it. And we said Arsenal have been given quite a bit of luck in terms of injuries this season. Is their luck starting to run out? With Saliba and Zinchenko both out. We'll see if they can just hold on. But they need to push for a winner, and time is not on their side, Arsenal. Xhaka, Vieira, just playing in their own box. They need to push upfield whatever way they can. Just get the ball higher up the pitch. They're going to make another change in a minute, Arsenal. Their fifth and final change. Eddie Nketiah that will join the fray. He's going all out for it now. Mikel Arteta. Ben White. Steps the West Ham pass. Now Trossard. Flick round. White. Vieira. Odegaard. Trossard. Leandro Trossard hold on the ball. Odegaard again. Now Xhaka. Vieira with a flick. Too cute, that one. Try and gives it away, and it ends up all the way back with Ramsdale. Arsenal really have to force it now. Jorginho. Odegaard. Wide ball to Nelson. Back to Xhaka. Nelson. Gabriel. Last minute of the 90. Arsenal have to force for this winner. Have to fire balls into the box, get bodies up the field. Odegaard wins a free kick. That could be a chance. Thilo Kehrer gives away a free kick. That could be the opportunity that they need. And they're going to make a change as well. It'll be Eddie Nketiah that will be coming onto the pitch. So Mikel Arteta getting as many attacking options as possible. But strangely enough, he's bringing off Martin Odegaard. Interesting. So Odegaard coming off, and he is replaced by Eddie Nketiah. West Ham also making a change. It's Said Benrahma who's coming off, and he will be replaced by Pablo Fornals. Pablo Fornals, interesting enough, got some big goals for West Ham over the years. So we've surpassed the 90 minutes, and we will have 5 additional minutes at the end of the game here. 5 minutes for a winning goal. West Ham have to hold on. Arsenal, free kick then. Vieira, left-footed, lifts it into the box, headed on by Trossard, I think that was, or no, it was Holding that headed it on, but into the hands of Fabianski. Safe enough for the West Ham keeper. They need to... It's not really good, that one from Arsenal. Not the best of techniques. Ove says the time to push for the winner was at 2-0 or 2-1 at the latest. Yeah. They threw away that advantage. They were 2-0 up. Pretty comfortable. Yes, it was very early in the game, but 2-0 up. After what happened last week when they were 2-0 up, you think Arsenal would have learnt their lesson to give goals away. They gave away a penalty, and then they gave away a goal at the start of the second half, which pushed the game into Arsenal, into West Ham's favour. And West Ham, who have just won a corner. 3.5 minutes to go. All this talk of an Arsenal winner. We could see a winner for West Ham too. West Ham have a corner on the right hand side. This would be some story if they could do it. West Ham. We'll see. Jared Bowen. Corner, right hand side. Will be a left-footed in swinging corner. Whipped in by Bowen. Into the box. Gabriel with a header on it. Still not away by Arsenal though. Cresswell looking to keep it alive. Feels he was fouled. I would probably agree with that. That there was a foul in there, but referee gives nothing. Referee says play on. As West Ham have the ball back then. Here's Maxwell Cornet on the right hand side. Back in field to Fornals. Looking to link up with Cornet. Cornet's at the byline, cuts it back. Arsenal have bodies in the way. Souček keeps it alive, but the flag is raised against West Ham for an offside. So that will be an Arsenal free kick then. An anticlimactic end to that move. 2.5 minutes to go. Arsenal have the ball here with Reiss Nelson. Xhaka. Ben White. Saka. Arsenal in possession, but not as high as they would have liked to be. Trossard now finds Ben White, lifts it to the back post. West Ham had players there and cleared it away. Nelson keeps it alive on the left. Reece Nelson across to Jorginho. Jorginho lifts it into the box, but poor one, that one from Jorginho. And my God, it's just dribbling out now. I think a minute and a half to go. Arsenal have had to push for a winner for a long, long time. 35 minutes of 90 minutes was left after West Ham scored. We're almost 40 minutes after the goal, and it's still 2-2. They had ample time to score a winner, Arsenal. Ample time to get that chance to get the winner. They're throwing everything at it now, but it just doesn't seem like it's going to be their day in East London. Last minute of the 95. West Ham were on the attack there. Intercepted by Arsenal as they try and probably go for one last attack. Trossard. Now Ben White. Saka. To Trossard again. Trossard on the halfway line. Needs to put it upfield. Nelson. They have to force it up into that final third. Seconds ticking down. Jorginho. Saka. Saka on the edge. Jorginho linking up with Trossard. Trossard blocked by West Ham again. And that is the final whistle. The referee blows it on the mark of 95. And the full-time whistle goes. Points dropped again for Arsenal in the title race. They only get a point when they would have wanted 3 in East London. But from a 2-goal lead in the first 10 minutes, Gabriel Jesus and Odegaard with the goals, they have thrown away a massive lead. Goals from Said Benrahma from the penalty spot, and Jared Bowen got West Ham back level and stole a point for the home team, who had both teams had chances to win it in the second half with a lot of time to win it too. But in the end, it's a point apiece, and Arsenal looking dangerously and nervously below them, with City only 4 points behind them, and City have a game in hand, plus they play each other at the Etihad in 10 days' time. A big change in the title race, and it's all going City's way at the minute. At the end of this game at the London Stadium, a disappointing day for Arsenal. A good day for West Ham from probably a terrible start, but a full-time score that Man City fans will be happy with. West Ham United 2, Arsenal 2.